If you see, if there's a storm out in the ocean and there's very large waves coming in, those waves come in, let's say they're 20 feet high and they come rolling in and you're standing on the beach, those waves can just smack you down. They come in very slowly though, and you can see them coming. And these great big waves, you look at these waves in Hawaii, they come in very slow, but they have a lot of power behind them. They can knock you down. And on a calm day, like where I live, you get these little waves. And the little waves are very fast, but they don't have much power. Well, that's kind of how the whole electromagnetic spectrum is, including human consciousness. Scientists say that, oh, this doesn't exist. Once it gets beyond a certain spectrum, they can't measure it, so they say, therefore, it doesn't exist. You know, consciousness can't create reality because there is no such thing. You know, it's not real energy. Well, it is real energy, and now they're discovering that. But that's what consciousness is like. It's very high frequency, very subtle. And there are other similar energies, like Reiki-type energies, which is really just directed consciousness. That's what you have. You've got very high frequency energies that come in through the physical structure, and they can do amazing things. They can heal things. They're very regenerative. They elevate consciousness. So if you're eating a diet high in living foods, if you're detoxifying the body and keeping things operating well, if you're doing exercise and energy exercises, meditation, all of these various things, it raises the superconductivity in the body, and consciousness can connect to the physical structure better. And by nature of all of that, you're going to have that higher superconductivity is going to physically regenerate the body faster and better. There's a company back at the very back here called Umbaya Gold, and they sell probiotics. They sell all kinds of supplements that are very high in monatomic elements. And these monatomic elements exist in living foods. They exist in humans, they exist in all animals, they exist in fermented foods, they exist in live plants. And there are things you can do to increase their levels in plants and the foods you eat. And so the folks at Umbaya Gold, and by the way, I'm not affiliated with them, and I'm not here selling anything. I don't have a booth. I was just asked to come up and speak about this. But they have really exceptional products because they have these monatomic elements that plug into those superconducting junctures in the body, and they increase the superconductivity. Well, certain living foods are the same way. All living foods have a certain amount of these what are called ormus elements, monatomic elements. But certain ones are very high. For example, aloe is very high in monatomic gold. You ingest this stuff, and these plants are known for healing. What they do is go into the body and they work at a chemical level, but they also work at a subatomic level, and they open up that connection and that superconductivity so that healing and regeneration takes place at an energetic level. So when you're working on healing and regenerating the body and regenerating cells and tissue and healing the emotions and the mind, all of this stuff contributes to what you're doing in the various ways that you may approach it. By increasing, by doing Qigong body work, all these things, you can increase the superconductivity. By doing living foods, you can increase the superconductivity. By doing supplements with ormus minerals in them, you can increase the superconductivity. And the thing of it is, there are people that understand this, and they're now teaching how to make ormus elements, make your own monatomic elements. But the thing of it is, these elements, along with what they do in the body, they will shift your physical structure, but if you're not ready spiritually and emotionally, it'll fry your nervous system. And so I see a lot of people out in the world who are trying to get a quick fix and a fast pill to higher consciousness and spirituality or ascension or whatever. And so they take these ormus supplements, or not ormus supplements, but they take these extracted synthetic monatomic elements, and it does jack up the superconductivity in the body, and it fries their brain and their nervous system, and they have really freaky experiences, and they don't know how to deal with it because they haven't elevated themselves consciously and spiritually to be able to handle that. And so at any rate, you've got all this stuff going on in the body. You've got this mind-body connection that's now being discovered. Bruce Lipton, a brilliant scientist, has shown how human cells interact with consciousness. Every cell in your body has little antennas, little proteins that stick up from the membranes of the cells, and they act like antennas, and they operate different functions in the cells. Well, what makes those antennas tell the cells what to do is a field that immerses all of the cells, and that field is your own consciousness. It's your own consciousness that's telling every single cell in your body what to do. So that's going on all the time. And so there's solid evidence of the mind-body connection that doctors talk about. And so if you're uplifted and happy and joyous and doing good things for yourself and treating yourself well, that's all going to work really well. If you're having that internal dialogue where you're beating yourself up or engaging in arguments and difficulties with other people and creating all kinds of drama in your life, then you're going to shut all that stuff down, and that also shuts down the superconductivity in the body, and that shuts down regeneration of cells and the level of health. So we've got that going on at one level, and also the water in your body. The water in your body holds information. Water is a homeopathic solution. Anything that contains water is a homeopathic solution. And what does that mean? Well, water in its subatomic structure, it holds information just like computer chips do, just like computer memory does. And so whatever water is exposed to, whether it's a physical element or a material or a field, it will take on the frequencies of what it's being exposed to. So if you pollute water, you run it through filtration, you run it through chemical treatment, you run it through electric fields, various kinds. Anything that you expose it to, it takes on the signature of that information. And so that, depending on those frequencies, they can either be healing or they can be degenerative. And that's the whole basis of homeopathy. Water is a carrier of information. It's a carrier of consciousness. And so when you ingest water, you want to be ingesting natural water that has very good frequencies built into it. And there are things that you can do with water to do that. The natural hydrological cycle of the earth, that is the way nature does that with water. Water is evaporated from the earth, it goes up into the sky. It's charged by the sounds of nature and lightning and cosmic radiation and solar radiation and lunar radiation. It condenses and comes back down and hits the ground, and it's absorbed through the soil, and it goes across plants and the roots of the plants. Plants are energy to matter converters. They take in solar radiation and all these radiations. They take in the sounds of the creatures and the bacteria and the worms and all of the life inside the soil, and they impart that into the water in their bodies. And they also, as the water is coming down, as rain comes down across the plants are antenna reaching up into the sky. They're also antenna reaching down into the earth, picking up all kinds of subtle energies, scalar energies, tachyon energies, and imparting that into the water that's coming down from rain. And then that goes down into the soil, and all of the minerals, all the soil in the world is full of minerals. And those minerals are crystals. Crystals hold real energy, real electrical energy. When you fire up a gas grill and you push that little red button, now probably not many people here are doing that if you're eating raw food, but if you've ever seen a gas grill and you push the little button, it fires up the grill. Well, what it's doing is it's smacking a piece of quartz crystal with two wires attached to it, and that quartz will shoot out electricity from it. And you can do this if you go into a stream at night, a stream or river, take a couple of quartz crystals and bang them together underwater. You can actually see the sparks coming off of them. So there's real energy stored in crystals, and it's not some woo-woo New Age type energy. You know, there are courses in crystallography at MIT, and you can actually see them online. You can actually see these full courses in crystallography for free online from MIT. And you can see this. So the water comes down across the ground, it's filtering across plants, it's filtering across minerals, it's picking up all these energies,